Democracy in America is Alexis de Tocqueville's profound attempt to understand not merely the political institutions of the United States, but the deeper social condition he believed was reshaping the modern world: democracy. Writing after his travels in America in the early 1830s, Tocqueville treats the United States as a living laboratory, a society where equality of conditions had advanced further than anywhere else, and asks what this meant for liberty, morality, religion, culture, and the human soul itself. Tocqueville begins with the observation that democracy is not simply a form of government, but a way of life. In America, he argues, equality of social conditions shapes habits of thought, expectations, and relationships. Titles, inherited ranks, and aristocratic hierarchies have largely disappeared, replaced by a society of relatively equal citizens who believe their destinies are largely in their own hands. This equality generates immense energy, optimism, and social mobility, but it also produces restlessness, conformity, and a tendency to measure success in material terms. Americans are practical, forward-looking, and action-oriented, yet often impatient with tradition, abstraction, and historical depth. A central concern of the book is the tension between equality and liberty. Tocqueville warns that while equality can empower individuals, it can also make them vulnerable to new forms of domination. Unlike the overt tyranny of kings, democratic societies risk what he famously calls the tyranny of the majority, a soft but pervasive pressure that suppresses dissenting opinions and encourages intellectual conformity. Public opinion, rather than law alone, becomes a powerful coercive force. Tocqueville fears that citizens may surrender independent judgment in exchange for social acceptance, leading to a society that is free in name but timid in spirit. Yet Tocqueville does not see America as doomed to this fate. One of the book's great strengths is its attention to the mediating institutions that protect freedom. Local self-government, especially in townships and counties, trains citizens in responsibility and participation. Voluntary associations, religious, civic, charitable, and political, allow individuals to act collectively without relying on the state. These associations, Tocqueville argues, are schools of liberty. They counteract isolation, cultivate cooperation, and prevent power from concentrating in a distant central authority. Americans, he notes, instinctively form associations where Europeans might appeal to the government. Religion plays a particularly important role in Tocqueville's analysis. Although church and state are formally separate in America, religion exerts a powerful moral influence over society. Tocqueville is struck by how religious belief supports democratic freedom rather than undermining it, by placing moral limits on individual desire and reminding citizens of duties beyond self-interest. Religion restrains the excesses of materialism and individualism. In Tocqueville's view, religion does not rule American politics, but it shapes American character, and this moral foundation makes liberty sustainable. In the second volume, Tocqueville turns more explicitly to the psychological and cultural consequences of democracy. He introduces the idea of individualism, not selfishness, but a tendency for citizens to withdraw into private life, focusing on family and personal comfort while neglecting the public good. This withdrawal, he warns, creates space for an expansive paternalistic state to step in and manage affairs on behalf of passive citizens. Tocqueville's vision of soft despotism is chillingly modern, a centralized power that does not terrorize or brutalize, but gently guides, regulates, and infantilizes its people until they no longer think or act for themselves. Despite these dangers, Tocqueville remains cautiously hopeful. Democracy, he insists, is not a passing phase, but the future of the modern world. The question is not whether societies will become democratic, but whether they will become free. The answer depends on education, civic habits, moral restraint, and institutional design. Tocqueville writes not as a propagandist for democracy, but as its most perceptive critic and guardian, someone who loves liberty enough to warn that it is fragile and that democratic peoples must consciously cultivate the virtues required to sustain it. In the end, democracy in America is less a description of 19th century America than a timeless meditation on modern life. Tocqueville asks how human beings can preserve dignity, independence, and meaning in an age of equality. His enduring insight is that freedom is not secured by laws alone, but by character, by citizens who are capable of self-rule, moral judgment, and responsibility. Democracy, he shows, can elevate humanity or quietly diminish it, depending on whether people choose to govern themselves or allow themselves to be governed.